Good morning. My name is Kevin Naum, and I'm the marketing director at NAFECO here at the corporate headquarters in Decatur, Alabama. We want to welcome you to our first webinar that we are hosting featuring RamFan's new EX150Li. NAFECO was proud to partner with RamFan on this world's most powerful battery operated fan for our May product of the month. And now is the opportunity to dive into the technical presentation of how it can work for firefighters. Your presenter today is Kirk Johnson, RamFan's Director of Sales. So once again, welcome. Thanks for logging in, and I'll turn it over to RamFan.
Okay, thanks, Kevin. I appreciate the intro. I'd like to start off by thanking NAFECO for presenting this webinar, for hosting it. NAFECO is RamFan's premier fire dealer in the southeastern U.S. and one of our top dealers worldwide. So I'm proud that we could partner with them, and let's go ahead and get started. So today we're going to talk about the world's most powerful battery fans. That's our EXLI series of fans. We're going to talk a little bit about our development vision for this year. You know, as crazy of a year as it's been, we did start off this year with a new development vision, a new mission statement, if you will. We're going to talk a little bit about RamFan's purpose-built firefighting fans, fans built especially for the job you guys do. And then, of course, we'll talk in depth about the EX150Li product family. So the world's most powerful battery fans. Yeah, how did we go about coming up with this? We started by designing it and building it right. That's from the ground up. All the components are purpose-built, especially for the demands of firefighting. To build battery fans that are going to outperform gas fans and electric fans, just off-the-shelf parts or components ordered off the internet, batteries you buy at Home Depot, they just don't cut. Our EXLI series of battery fans are the most powerful and best-in-class battery fans available to the global firefighting community. Currently, we're the only manufacturer committed to proving our battery power performance by certification at AMCA. You know, just like you guys have air packs or TICs that are certified by NFPA or NIOSH, we certify our fans with AMCA, which is the Air Movement Control Association. We've been building the most powerful and reliable products for over 50 years now, and we're just getting started. So as I said, before all the COVID stuff, the craziness hit, we started off this year with a new vision statement. And that was to eliminate CO producing equipment from the fire ground, beginning with our own. So getting rid of all the gas fans out there, getting rid of generators that are producing CO to power an electric fan, a plug-in electric fan. As you guys have seen in your day-to-day jobs, a lot of the components on fire trucks are becoming battery powered, whether it's rescue tools, of course, flashlights, radios, and there's even the battery powered fire truck out there now. All of our RamFan products are purpose built for their intended application. That means our firefighting fans are specifically designed and manufactured from the start with the needs of firefighters in mind. I mean, we all know that firefighters are tough on equipment. We've all heard the jokes and the stories about firefighters breaking things. I'm not going to tell any of those jokes. We all know them. Because of the extreme nature of the job, life-saving equipment can't be the same stuff we use in the day-to-day civilian world. I mean, you don't go buy your turnout at JCPenney's or Walmart, do you? This is why we design and manufacture all of our components in-house. designed and manufactured for one purpose and one purpose only, and that's fighting fire. If we're beholden to just using generic components built for other applications and ordered off the internet or out of a catalog, I know I feel I'd be shortchanging firefighters and quite possibly putting somebody's life in jeopardy. So, as we get into fans, I want to give you a little view as to what's going on with battery fans in today's market. And we're going to talk about this new category of fans that we've put out. And then we're going to talk about the EX150Li family of fans. Battery fans were first introduced into the fire service around 2010. In fact, I first saw them at FRI in Chicago in 2010. A company called Blowhard introduced the very first battery fan, well, the first realistic battery fan that was kind of self-contained. It was called the BH20, released in 2010, and Blowhard's still selling that same fan. Now, in the 10 years since then, the rest of the PPV world has jumped on board, and we've all started manufacturing our own battery fans. Now, all these fans, whether it's the original Blowhard, or Supervac, or Tempest, Group Leader, and even us, RamFan, all of our fans have a power rating of between 600 and 700, up to maybe 750 watts. So that's every fan that's come before, 600 to 750 watts, let's say. Let's call that category sub 1 horsepower, because they're all just under 1 horsepower there. Now, to give you an idea, here's a look at those fans I just talked about. And you notice everybody falls in that sub 1 horsepower category. Now, the new category of fans that RamFan's introduced, the EX150Li, we're going to call this category greater than 1.5 horsepower. In fact, it's at 1.9 horsepower, the EX150 is pretty darn close to 2 horsepower. We should probably call it that, but greater than 1.5 is just a little bit more descriptive, I guess. So here we look at the EX150 in red up there in comparison with some of our fans. Okay, I'm just going to compare it against our own products at this point. But you notice it's more powerful than our 16-inch gas-powered GF164, more powerful than the 18-inch EX500, and it's even more powerful than our original battery fan, the EX50. Now, to put this in perspective, let's look at it with some fans from across the market. Here you see the 150 there in the bottom of red compared to everybody's 18-inch plug-in electric fans. At 1.9 horsepower, it's definitely outclasses everybody's plug-in electrics. In that sense, it's the most powerful battery fan the most powerful electric fan at all, AC or DC, on the market. But the interesting thing to look at is, let's compare it to 16-inch gas fans. More powerful than our 16-inch 164, the Supervac 716G, the Tempest DD16. It's even more powerful than that. And of course, all these come with no CO, less noise, virtually no maintenance. We're doing away with all that by going to the battery-powered fans. Now, looking at the EX150 family of fans in comparison with everybody else's battery fans out there, you'll notice that 12,377 CFM, and that's AMCA certified airflow. So that's a third-party testing body that has certified that number. We're by far the most powerful battery fan in the world. So now let's talk about the EX150Li family of fans. The fan comes in two editions. We have the Urban Edition, which has a little bit more compact frame, a little bit easier to fit into compartments. And by its name, you can tell urban, it's made for more urban environments. And then the All-Terrain Edition, which has the big 8.5-inch wheels on it, a little bit better for rolling over snow or mud, upstairs, a little bit more robust framework, but the trade-off there is also it's a little bit bigger frame. Got a video here I'm going to show you.
Are you ready to cut the power cord and get rid of toxic steel-powered PPV fans? Through our extensive research and engineering expertise, RamFan has created the world's most powerful battery-powered PPV fan. Introducing the revolutionary RamFan EX150Li, a new category of PPV fans. Purpose-built from the ground up, each and every component of RamFan's EX150Li is specifically designed using total unit design technology to withstand the incredible demands of the firefighting industry. Building a fan with off-the-shelf parts just can't cut it for firefighters. It generates an unprecedented 1.9 horsepower output and is the only PPV fan AMCA certified for battery operations in the firefighting market. The EX150Li requires no cords or gas to operate and emits no harmful CO into the atmosphere. Its multi-mission functionality boasts an AMCA certified 12,400 CFM on battery power and comes with an integrated charger, swappable lithium-ion battery packs, and the most advanced battery management system in the industry. In the past, a battery-powered PPV fan could never compete with an AC or gas fan in clearing a smoke-filled room. Until now. Don't believe us? See it for yourself. Our industrial engineers have been building the most innovative, powerful, and reliable products for over 50 years, and we're just getting started. RamFan EX150Li, power technology and design superiority. Contact us today to schedule a demo.
Okay, so the EX150Li family of fans. As I said before, we've got the Urban Edition with the 3-inch wheels, very compact frame, and then the All-Terrain Edition with the larger, more roll cage type frame and the big 8.5-inch wheels. So those are the two variations. Now, most of the components of the fan are identical. They both have the brushless motor, the 1.9 horsepower DC motor. The Intellisense E3 Controller, our latest generation controller technology. They both have LED flow path lighting. They both have tilt, aluminum frameworks. They both have 1.5 amp integrated chargers. So there's no external charger needed. Now, we do offer external chargers if you want to charge backup batteries, but by no means do you need them to operate the fan. The EX150s, just like the EX50 before it, are totally self-contained units. Now the EX150, we have moved up from the 40-volt battery packs on the EX50 to a 52-volt lithium-ion battery pack. This was important that we had to add the power to be able to get up to that 1.9 horsepower. Let's talk for a moment about the battery management system. This is essentially the central nervous system for a battery fan. This is what charges your batteries, discharges the batteries, controls heat, controls everything about your fan. With the E3 controller and the upgraded battery management system, we've added dual microchips, advanced charging algorithms, of course, the integrated 1.5 amp chargers like I talked about. And all this is just to manage the batteries. The battery packs themselves, as I said, 52 volt, extruded aluminum casing, IP66 ingress protection. Yeah, that means the battery is essentially waterproof. Some batteries on the market out there, the way they dissipate heat is they have holes in the plastic casing that allow the heat to escape. On a construction site, that's probably okay, but on the fire ground, it gets wet. We all know that. Things get wet and water will kill your batteries. There's no way around that. So we have IP66 rating on our batteries. That means if after overhaul, the fan is covered with drywall and plaster and dirt and everything, you can just turn a hose on it and spray it off. So we use Samsung's 21700 lithium-ion cells in our batteries. Built-in fuel gauge, both on the battery itself and backup fuel gauge on the controller. So I was talking a little bit about commercial battery packs. Plastic casing, holes to dissipate heat, just not built for firefighting. So no ingress protection. Battery management system is a lot of times split up between the battery and the tool itself, meaning that half the BMS might be on the drill, half of it's on the battery, half of it's on the rescue tool, half of it's on the battery. And if you're using a tool that doesn't happen to contain that other half of the BMS, you're just out of luck. Cell level monitoring. On this 52 volt pack, we have thermistors or temperature sensors on every cell. Commercial packs don't have any of that. As I was talking about before, commercial packs are made for the construction industry or your average homeowner. I've got a garage full of them myself. Our 52 volt pack is made for firefighting. It can be thrown around, dropped, sprayed with a hose. It can stand up to the job you guys do. Smart charging, we offer external chargers, as I said, or of course the internal charger on the fan itself. And then our extruded aluminum case acts as a 360-degree heat sink for the battery to dissipate the heat, keeping it from shutting itself down. Now, kind of going back to the commercial versus proprietary battery, we've got to talk about use profile. So if you're using a commercial tool, say a drill, the use profile on a drill is on, off, on, off, on, off. As long as you're screwing in the screws. A rescue tool, if you see the orange line there, you cut for a while, you stop cutting. You cut for a while, you stop cutting. You spread, you stop. Fans are made to be turned pretty much all the way up and then 100% until the job's done. Occasionally it might get turned down during overhaul or if it's being used for rehab. But essentially fans are run max speed until the battery's dead. And that's the way we've designed our batteries, is to discharge power evenly so that, in fact, I'll tell you, let me show you this next screen here. This shows you how airflow is delivered. So you notice the EX150 up there at the top, we're able to continue a level discharge rate until the very end in which it drops off. Batteries that have been designed for other applications have a steeper drop off over time. Again, just an advantage of a purpose-built battery built for firefighting versus something made for another industry. So our E3 controller. Like the battery management system, this is really the nerve center of the fan. This is the E3 controller allows for DC max mode, which is much like a turbo mode. It increases your air, your CFM increases your air for a short period of time if you're going to be using the fan, say for a more aggressive fire attack, and then allowing you to cut it back to just normal full speed during overhaul or rehab. The 1.5 amp integrated chargers. It has dual chargers. You're charging both batteries at the same time. A transport or storage mode. What this does is allows the fan to self-discharge its batteries down to a certain level so the fan can safely be shipped if it needs to go somewhere, or if you need to store the fan for a long time for safe storage. And like I said before, we do have the battery status indicators on the control panel there. So from a standing position, you can check the status of both of your batteries. Just a little bit more detail about the two different editions of the fan. This is the urban edition, sized for tight compartments, for urban environments where you're not going to be rolling over snow and mud and stairs and everything like that. Here we've got some of the specifications on the urban edition. Notice the 12,377 CFM, and that's tested on battery. When I took this fan to AMCA to test it, I made sure that we tested on battery power, on DC power, because after all, you know, what good is a battery fan if it can only run on AC? You know, you'll notice, in fact, our AC airflow numbers are lower than our battery, again, because we designed this fan to run on battery power. The all-terrain edition, the AT version of the fan. What we've done here is we've really just taken the guts of the EX150 urban mission and put it into the frame that you guys are familiar with, that of a kind of a gas fan. Is very similar to our GX350 frame, a roll cage design, a little bit bigger than the urban edition, but much more robust, easier to move around. And big 8.5-inch wheels, an extended approach angle. Specifications on both fans are pretty similar. Yeah, it's not going to change much. The weight does go up on the all-terrain. It is a little bit heavier. And the dimensions, surprisingly, the only real change in the dimensions is going to be just an inch in depth. Airflow is exactly the same. The motor, the batteries, everything is the same on both fans. I threw on a chart here just a comparison between our EX50, our original battery fan, which is a little bit smaller, a little bit lighter, and of course the give and take there is a little bit less airflow. It's only 40 volt compared to the 52 volts. The 10,120 CFM compared to the 12,377. Now, one of the reasons I did throw the 50 in here is that both the EX50 and the EX150 Li fans are all compatible with our full range of mission kits. The rehab mission kit, confined space, zero downtime packages, and the high expansion foam generator. Our rehab supplemental kit, as we call it, the rehab system. It's the misting system for the fans. As far as I know, we're the only manufacturer that actually plumbs our misting system into the fan to where it is on the fan at all times. It doesn't just hook up to the grill of the fan via a clamp or a magnet or a zip tie, as some people use. This misting system is on the fan at all times, doesn't get left on scene or in a compartment, so it's always ready to be used for rehab. Zero downtime kits. The zero downtime packages are one of our more popular configurations because they come with the fan, truck mount, an external charger, either AC or DC, it's your choice, and then 4 batteries rather than just the 2 battery packs for the fan. Departments that run a lot of calls like the zero downtime because it allows them to have two batteries in backup. With the EX150, you're going to get 45 minutes of runtime at full speed or 30 minutes of runtime at DC max. And while that's typically enough to get a job done, you've got to worry about what happens on the next call if you don't have the 4 hours needed to charge your batteries back up. This allows you to have your backup batteries ready to be put back on the fan and keep the fan in service for the next job. High expansion foam generator kit. If you're a department that likes to use high X foam, we can put this kit on your fan and it makes a ton of foam, ideal for parking garages or below ground spaces. You can flood it with foam very easily with your fans. Okay, at this point, I'd like to open up to some questions. If anybody has a question, please throw it in the question box there, and I'll do my best to answer it. Anything? I can't have done that good of a job. Okay, here we go. I guess we just got backed up a little bit there. I've got a question from James asking about the weight of the fans. Let me go back just to be able to show you that. Now, if we're talking, the heavier of the 2 fans is going to be the all-terrain. And you notice the fan with 2 battery packs. I see what your question was there, James, and maybe I didn't spell it out well enough on here, but 77 pounds is the fan with both batteries on board. Okay, the fan without the batteries is 64 pounds. Now, where this might come into play is if you want to use the fan, and this holds true for both the 150s and the 50 Li. If you're going to use the fan as maybe a relay fan in a high-rise operation, you might want to take the batteries off. One guy carry the fan, the other firefighter carry the batteries, just to lighten it up a little bit if you're going to have to climb multiple stories. But hopefully that gives you an idea about the weight of the fan. And it also, you can see why we put the big wheels on it. 77 pounds, if you've got to haul it a couple blocks down the street or something, it does make it nice. So how much does the fan cost? Lee, you asked that. And I've got to defer to the guys at NAFECO. They're my dealer. I'd ask you to get in touch with NAFECO, and their reps will quote you a price on it. Bo asks, are the batteries intrinsically safe? No, Bo, they're not. And that's really the answer that our attorneys have asked me to give, because we get into the point there where we could possibly get sued if we claim too much. And RamFan is the world leader in intrinsically safe fans, and this is not one of them. That's a whole other line of fans we do for hazardous locations. But the batteries are, like I said, IP66, so they're essentially waterproof, but they're not intrinsically safe. We cannot make that claim. Can we purchase service contracts? Darren French, yeah, you asked that? Yep. That's going to be up to the dealer. And NAFECO does do repair for us, and that might be something that they want to look into, and I will discuss with their management whether a service contract could be offered. Now, with a battery fan, you're really probably not going to need a service contract, because unlike a gas fan where you've got to regularly change the oil and clean out your carburetor and fuel filters, there's, as I said before, virtually no maintenance on a battery fan. Keep your batteries charged, and all lithium-ion batteries are good. The lithium-ion chemistry is good for about 500 charge cycles. I mean, whether that's your iPhone or your firefighting fan. So eventually you are going to have to budget for new batteries. So there is maintenance there, but as far as the fan itself, I would recommend just your daily, monthly, weekly rig checks. Outside of that, just keep it clean. So going down the list here, boy, I asked for questions and you guys have really come up with some great ones. Okay, Doug, you asked about dimensions on the urban edition of the fan. Got the dimensions right here, 23, 21, and 19. Hopefully that will fit in your compartment that you're thinking about. Now, of course, if that isn't going to work, you can always go to the EX50 Li, which the dimensions are 22, 21, and 12, thinner in the depth dimension. Luke, you asked if I've got any demo plans in the Houston area. The first of next year. I live in Austin, Texas. Actually, I live in Georgetown. You probably know where that is. But so I'm in the Houston area quite often. And all you need to do is talk to your NAFECO rep, or my contact info will be coming up here in a second. Let one of us, both of us know, and I'm more than happy to come over and do demos. Would love to do that with you guys. Okay, Carl asked, does having the rehab option affect the length of service for the fan? I'm going to assume you're probably talking about runtime, and you're right on there. That let's say I'm running the fan for rehab, you might run it down at 25% of power. So that's going to extend your runtime out to several hours. You're going to get a lot more time for rehab. Likewise, if you're running the fan during overhaul, maybe it's at half speed, so maybe you're going to get an hour out of it. Okay, George asked if the all-terrain model is stackable. And I'm going to assume you're talking about literally stacking them, and the answer would be no. Now, if you're talking about stackable and that setting them up in series or parallel, of course you can still use standard ventilation tactics or techniques to use multiple fans on one doorway. Matthew, you asked, does the fan come with an AC cord to finish the job if the batteries are dead? And yes, the fans do have a built-in removable AC plug that the fan, well, first of all, it's used to charge the batteries. Those built-in integrated chargers, you plug the AC pigtail in and it's going to charge the batteries. And then if your batteries are dead or they're not on the fan or whatever reason it might be, the AC pigtail is going to power the fan. Dee, you asked how much the batteries sell for. And again, I'm going to defer to my dealer, NAFECO in this case, to answer that for you. Jeff, you asked, what about constant charging while on the apparatus? Does this shorten the battery life? And the answer to that is no. So let's say you've got the fan in the compartment and it's plugged into an AC outlet, let's say, charging, and then you're on shore power. And your worst case scenario, let's take a smaller volunteer department that maybe doesn't run many calls, so the fan's going to sit in quarters most of the time, just charging and charging and charging. The interesting thing about our controller is that the controller is built to charge the batteries up to 100%. At 100%, it turns off. Every 24 hours, the controller is going to come back on for a microsecond. It's going to run a self-diagnostic on the battery, determine if it needs to be charged, do that charging if it's been depleted, and then turn itself back off for another 24 hours. So it's only going to be on for a microsecond, a millisecond, I don't know, a small amount of time, and then run that check, top itself off, and then turn off. So you're not constantly just pounding power into your batteries. Okay, Gary, we asked in DC max mode, if you have the zero downtime package, can you restart the fan in DC max mode, or would that overheat? Oh, okay, I think I know what you're asking, and I think what you're asking is if we run the fan for 30 minutes on DC max, of course you've depleted your batteries at that point, so you hot swap the batteries out, keep the fan running, so you're running for another 30 minutes on DC max mode, and I do not believe that's going to overheat the motor. We have built the fan, again, with that in mind, and we wouldn't overheat the motor in that case. Okay, I think we're just about done here. Doug, you asked about, and this is a housekeeping kind of thing, about the PDF files on board, and they're supposed to be downloadable. Now, all these are available through NAFECO. They're all available on our website, ramfan.com. Contact your NAFECO rep, let me know, and I will email them to you. I apologize for them not being downloadable. Hopefully, maybe that's a limited thing and not all of you are having that problem. But as far as I know, that's the end of the questions. So I'm just going to go ahead and wrap it up. Get back to where I was. Of course, I'd like to thank you for your time today. Please let either myself or our customer service department know if you have any questions. I'd like to thank NAFECO and Kevin Nauman for hosting this webinar today. I look forward to doing more webinars in the future with them. And Kevin, at this point, I am going to open your mic back up. You have anything you'd like to add at this point?
Yeah, thank you so much, Kirk, for this webinar. This has been really informative, and for all this great technical information on the next generation battery operated fans. I know these innovations will provide the fire service with more tools to do their jobs effectively. I want to thank the folks for their great questions and to ensure them that we'll get our sales reps to contact you. I also want to make mention this 1.9 horsepower has never been seen in these battery fans. So this is something that everybody needs to get a chance to see. So contact NAFECO for your EX150 Li demonstration today. We're positioned with sales reps all over the 12 states in the Southeast. You can find the sales reps by calling our customer service at 800-628-6233, or an easy way is to go to nafeco.com and then /staff, STAFF, and you can find your state, and you can find all our sales reps that are in your particular state. Our sales reps stand ready to meet your needs. Go to nafeco.com for more information, these PDFs that he was referring to, and many other products. And thank you so much, Kurt, for this great presentation.